Welcome back to Donington Park and the Lotus Cup UK, the race being led by that man, the Go Green Motorsport car, piloted by Adam Wilcox. And Wilcox in emphatic form, he's well clear of Adrian Hall in second position with Marcus Jewell in third, but we are now reaching that point of the race where everything gets turned on its head because the pit window is open. We've already seen Doug Setters heading in to hand over to son Chris. The next man in is Dave Carr, and that's going to be the radical racer James Littlejohn will take over from him. I can expect to see that car flying as the race progresses. So the pit's really about to get very busy here in Donington Park with such a huge field. His apron is going to be packed in a few moments' time. And down there in the thick of the action is Hayley Sams, who has been able to catch up with Doug Setters as work continues on Liz Halliday's car.
Doug, how did you get on? You've just been out for the first half of the Lotus Cup UK.
Bit of a struggle, but we're doing our best. We've lost most of our gears, so we've only got basically fourth gear. So it's just a question of driving around it. You know, other people have had their problems. We've got a problem with the gearbox, and we're just going to drive around it. So hoping for the best, really. We need to finish. That's the important thing.
Well, a steaming Doug Setters there. Anxious for the checkered flags come out as James Littlejohn heads into the race. Chris Randall is about to take over from Campbell Cassidy as we catch up with Dave Carr.
Hey, how did you get on?
Yeah, not bad. Didn't qualify very well. Usual rubbish qualifying, but made up a few places, 4 or 5 places I think, up to P4 I believe, which that'll do me. And James will take over now and hopefully get another 1 or 2 places. So carry on.
Meanwhile, out on track, we've still got the Simon Deacon battle and then BJ Chung, who's frantically defending from the 340R of David Harvey, and this is really hard work for BJ Chung, who has to cover a defensive line into Redgate Corner, which is actually easier corners to defend on than you might think, but none of you have a big sliding exit like that, and BJ Chung under real pressure, plunging through the crane. It goes, but he keeps his right foot in here, and he's been able to recover it for a moment. It looks as if he's going to be facing the wrong way to the incoming traffic, but he gathers up the mistake, has a bold move through the crane of curves and continues ahead of the 340R. So BJ Chung showing strongly, although the pit stop, I'm sure, for him now can't come soon enough, as Chris Randall is ready to head out in the Hoffman's Lotus Europa. Campbell Cassidy making the last few checks as that car then gets sent out on track. Also in is Steve Porter. He will hand over to the very, very rapid Steve Guglielmi, although Steve completing one of his first outings in motorsport, I'm sure will be all smiles. Another significant pit stop here as Tom Chataway is in his 211. That's to hand over to Mark Speller. As Chataway clams out, Speller about to hop in. Hayley Sams is down in the garage with Steve Porter.
So we're here with Steve Porter and it's his first Lotus Cup UK race. How did you get on?
I thought it was okay. I did well to come last in that little session, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was good fun. I think I've got to do a lot more practicing, but hopefully.
Well, the race well and truly on in the pits now as Speller gets strapped in. Simon Deacon's car gets refueled. Also in there, in front of the shop, is Glenn Sherwood and Jamie Stanley.
We're here with Campbell Cassidy. You've just been out for the first half of the Lotus Cup UK race. How was it?
It was very exciting. We didn't qualify particularly well, but we had a good race, nice smooth race. We got 3 or 4 points off the line and we managed to hold that. Had one little spin at the end, but now Chris is in the car. He's got 45 minutes to rack his way up to the front, and here's hoping this suits us well for the championship.
Well, the race now very much in a state of flux, but it's Adam Wilcox who still leads the way. He is yet to peel into the pit lane. So Wilcox very much in command of proceedings here. And now it's all a bit of a game of strategy in the pits, as is Adrian Hall in second place. He is also yet to make his visit to the pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. And Hall, well, he's keeping Wilcox in sight, but he's not really making inroads. And then we've got Marcus Jewell, and Liz Halliday has a big spin coming out of Goddard's, and Halliday loops around. And has she kept the engine running here? It's a very awkward place to rejoin the track as well. She's facing the oncoming traffic. She's not really got any sight as to who is coming, so she's going to have to fairly tentatively execute the U-turn, rejoins the race. But very unfortunate there for Liz Halliday. As you can see underneath the car, that rear bodywork flapping. We saw the car getting some attention in the pit lane a few moments ago, but I don't know whether that has been altogether successful. Let's have a look as she turns through Redgate Corner. And no, the car still flappy. You can see the cable ties, but they're holding the bodywork as such in place, but it's still rotating enough that it is scraping against the ground as Simon Deacon gets faster back into the car, and just behind him as well is Paul McNeely as Phil Capstick is in. That's to hand over to Adrian Brooks. Capstick pops out of his exige. Discuss his tactics with Adrian Brooks as Deacon gets way back out, but so does Paul McNeely, and McNeely jumps Deacon in the pits, and that could be very significant with an eye towards the championship as Liz Halliday also rejoins, although I have to report, don't think with any positive effect on that rear bodywork. If anybody has got any ropes in the Donington Park vicinity, if you could present to a garage, I think they'd quite like to use them, because that still needs another trip to the pit lane to get that rear section of the car absolutely secured, as Mark Speller, now at the wheel of the 62-211, gets his head down and looks to charge. And Speller, who for so long has had the reputation as really the go-to man in Lotus racing, if you want your car to perform strongly, then hand it over to Mark Speller, and that could give Tom Chataway a very good opportunity in the championship, particularly as Simon Deacon is at the moment bottled up behind Paul McNeely. Deacon accelerates out the old hairpin. McNeely, though, keeping him at bay, and at the moment Deacon not quite able to get himself onto terms to really challenge. Through McLean's they head though, 1.5, 2 car lengths between the pair of them, climbing up towards Coppice, and Deacon looking to challenge, but he's not quite close enough. As they head on to the back straight, we'll head back down to the pit lane with some more news.
Just been out for the first half of the Lotus Cup UK. How did you find the track today?
Good, very good indeed. Very dusty to start with, which made it a bit awkward seeing where the hell you were going on the formation lap and then on the rolling start. But aside from that, the oil soon went and the cement dust soon went, but excellent. Yeah, good fun out there. A lot of grip out there now. Good bit of fun. Enjoyed it.
Right, and you're hopeful for the second half of the race?
Yeah, Adrian's going to put in some mid-times like I did, and we're just out there to have some fun, try and improve on our times for the day and carry on like that.
Well, back into the pits is Liz Hadder. As you can see, the John Danby mechanics working very hard to get the rear of that car absolutely secured. Hugely frustrating for Liz. Also in is David Harvey. That's hand over to Brian Watts, just fastening on the rear view mirror. It's one of the beauties of the Lotus Cup UK is that often the driver and lead race engineer is one and the same. So Halliday about to rejoin the action. We head back down to the pits where Hayley's been able to catch up with David Harvey.
Running in anyway, up and down the pits. Dave, how did you get on?
Good and bad. At the beginning I got touched on the craners and went back a long way, which was not really the plan, but when it all settled down, car was good and yeah, it was going well. So I had fun, I enjoyed it.
Right, and you're hopeful for the second half of the race?
Yeah, Brian hasn't driven for a long time, but we're praying for him, yeah.
Meanwhile, Mark Speller out on track, gets his head down and charges, was into the pit lane, peels the race leader. So Adam Wilcox is in, and that will promote Adrian Hall into the lead of proceedings. Hall, who's got the wing mirror slightly askew there, will take over in the lead, and now it will all come down to what can the teams do in the pit lane, because a botched pit stop here could just be what Adrian Hall needs to snatch victory, because Hall has kept Adam Wilcox in his sights throughout the race. He puts a lap on the production class leader, Rob Boston, who is also yet to make his pit stop. So there we see the John Danby Racing team going to work on that Go Green Motorsport car. Adam Wilcox heads into the garage, and very shortly emerging will be Rob Fenn. So Fenn about to jump in to that number 66 car. Gets straps in, and then we're released into the race. And Adam Wilcox has given them the very, very best opportunity here of coming through and claiming victory. See whether or not it's going to be enough though, because Adrian Hall has been in fairly emphatic form throughout the race as well, and throughout the course of the season, also looking to rejoin his last year's championship runner-up, Ken Savage, running in the production class, and Ken crawling down the pit lane. He seems in no particular level of enthusiasm to get back out on track there. The marshal waves him on. Now he finds the accelerator, rejoins the action and heads back into the race. Although that may have cost him some time that will be crucial a little bit later on. So Savage rejoins the race leader. He's in the pits. Was Rob Fenn heads into the action, and we head down to Adam Wilcox.
Have you? Hi Adam, so you've just been out for the first half of the Cup UK. How was it?
Yeah, it was great. I came in the lead, so that was the plan really. So just hope Rob can do his job now and hope we get the win.
All in the pits is Steve Train, whose pit stop is complete. He vaults back in to the 211 before heading back out on track.
Hi Glenn, so you've just been out for the first half of the Cup UK. How did you find the track today?
A lot better. Apart from the start, there was a lot of oil from the previous race, but once that dusted off after 2 laps, it was good. I really enjoyed it, and more time on track for me. I was getting quicker. As the fuel load came down, I got into the 46.1, so for me it was great.
Great, and you're hopeful for the second half of the race?
Yeah, the thing being is to try and keep a decent pace, so we can try and keep in the top 10 all round about that area, so when Jamie jumps in, he can then make up the difference, so hopefully, fingers crossed, huh?
Into the pit lane then comes the man who was the race leader, Adrian Hall, who brings the Exige to a halt. Ready, the team looking to the rear engine cowling. They're pouring water in to try and cool it down, so we may have a problem here for Adrian Hall, and this could be a disaster for him and turn the race on its head.
Tom, you've just been out for the first half of the Cup UK. How did you find it?
I found it quite awful actually. I was very disappointed in myself. I think it's because we're in contention for the championship. I was nervous on every bend, thought don't put it in the litter, don't put it in the litter, which was costing me so much time. We then had a problem with second gear. I was struggling to get second gear, decided to take several bends in third gear instead of second, started to get in a bit of a rhythm and calm down then, but really a bit disappointed. But Mark's in the car now, hopefully he can do something and pull up, so fingers crossed with Mark. Come on Mark.
Tom Chataway living up to his name there as the work continues on Adrian Hall's car. Also in is very smoky Ken Savage, so the race beginning to become a little bit attritional as we move towards the latter stages.
Adrian's just come into the pits. What happened?
Unfortunately, the header tank cap come off, which has caused it to overheat. So a quick fill up with water, refuel, getting back out and hope for the best.
Let's see if Adrian Hall's going to be able to make it through to checker flag. In the meantime, though, that is good news for Rob Fenn, who is very emphatically in control of the race now. And this could be a dominant victory for the Go Green Motorsport team. Let's see if it is. Will join us after the break as the action concludes here at Donington Park.